I was coming back from London with Robin, and I was at the United Lounge, and I was having a coffee. Of course, she was having a Bailey's and coffee before our flight. And who should come and sit down next to us but Matt Fraser? Now, if you don't know who Matt Fraser is one of the breakout leads of American Horror Story Freak Show. And he is he was born with this condition called, phocomelia. And basically, so he has malformed arms. I don't know if you guys watched the show, right? So it was really interesting. So, you know, I've read a lot about him, and I really respect him, and so I started talking to him, and of course Robin turned into a total fangirl because she was like obsessed. And I was telling him how I work with actors and about how it's all just getting actors out of their heads. And he laughed because he was talking about, well, isn't that really the nature of being human anyway, right? That's the goal. That's why we're all here on the planet. How do we get more out of our heads and more in our body and more in this thing called the moment and being self-expressed? So I thought it was really fascinating because we started talking about his career, and he said some things to me that were like, oh my God, this is what I'm talking about all the time. And it's amazing to hear it from somebody who's broken through in a way that you wouldn't think Hollywood would allow somebody to break through in that way, because he's disabled. So he was saying how he had always known that he would break through by essentially being himself. So if you watch the show, who does he play but a freak? And then it started making me think about this whole thing about types. And I talk about it all the time, and I just think this is the key. People, the business, first of all, humanity in a general way, and the business specifically, is going to type your ass out. That's what humanity does. First of all, humanity does that because for me to label you or type you out in some way, it creates distinctions, it creates disparity, it creates separatism. It allows certain people to be marginalized. It allows other people to feel better about themselves because they can compare themselves to somebody who is quote-unquote lesser. That's what humanity does. The business itself also is reductive. They're going to type you. You live in a world, a business of types. So first of all, you have to know your type, and you have to be able to embrace that even with your own not loving it. You've got to figure that out, and I'm going to get to that in a second. The other thing about types that I find interesting is that the business also creates polarities in types. So you've all heard this before, and this is what's maddening about it. So you're ethnic, but you're not ethnic enough. You're Asian, but too Asian. No, not Asian enough. You're fat, too fat, TV fat, not fat enough, too fat. Gay, not gay enough, too this, too that, too old, too pretty. I've heard that before, oh, too pretty. Can you imagine? That's what the business does. So within these types are these weird polarities also that don't fit within types. So here's two ways of thinking about it. Number one, if you listen to it, you're going to drive yourself crazy and you will not move forward. And there's no truth in any of that. I mean, the truth is that, of course, everybody is going to be put into some type. And the second part about that truth is that you got to figure out your type now. You do not have any time to be debating about your type. And I don't have any judgment about it. If you don't like your nose, get a nose job. If you want to chisel your chin, do it. If you want to lose 20 pounds or pin your ears back, not just one ear, both ears, get Botox, do what you want to do so you feel good about yourself. And then, again, claim your type. That's how you're going to get work. Full circle. So what did Matt tell me? He said that he has known for he told me this at the United Lounge, for 20 years, he said. It must have been, I mean, he's 50-some years old. But he said he had known for 20 years that he was going to break through by being his type, and that he was eventually going to transcend that type. Voila, that's what I teach. You're going to break in by being essentially who you are, and then by being who you are in a way that nobody else can be, then you're going to end up have access to other things. So now he's kind of become like a sex symbol. He even said he's starting to get offers for things beyond people seeing him disabled. And you know, I also think the irony is I don't know a lot about him, but I don't think he ever identified as disabled. So he never saw that as a condition for him not to get work. So you guys, I think the last note here is if a self-prescribed freak can get a job, you can work. We're all freaks. We're all misfits. We're all abnormal. We're all weird. We all feel like we're on the margins. We're all feeling like we're a part of the tribe, but not quite sure if we fit in the way the cool people fit in. That's who you are. Why don't you stop apologizing for who you are and start to claim it? Own it. Be it. That's all you got. Just be a little bit more you. Just be a little bit more human. Then there's a place for you. That's pretty much all I have to say. If you don't know American Horror Story, Freak Show, I think you should go and Google it. And Ryan Murphy interviewed him, and he talked a little bit about that as well. I find him to be very inspiring, and it just goes to show you, it just blows open the idea of, you know, the things that we hold on to about the business, you got to break through them. The business isn't holding you back. You're holding yourself back, thinking that there's something wrong with who you are as a type. There's nothing wrong with you. As long as you're human, the last time I checked, a couple minutes ago, you're all still human, then there's a place for you, because we're telling human stories. Anybody have a cyber chip in them? No. So you're all human. So there's a place for you. Figure out your type immediately, stat, and then get on that.